Welcome to Learning to Live with Dementia. This is Lesson 1. You can live well with dementia.
To recognize what this disease is, to understand the pros and cons, but also to work around it and still enjoy life. Just because you have the diagnosis doesn't mean that you can't find the goodness in life, because there's goodness everywhere.
First, you have to go through the stages of grief. When you're diagnosed, it is devastating because you grieve and you mourn the person that you thought you would be. You grieve who you were. You grieve and everything in the middle, you know? But once you reach that acceptance, that is where the joy comes. That is where you say, you know what? I'm not going to focus on the things that I can't do. I'm going to focus on the things that I can do. And I'm going to learn new things. I'm going to meet new people. I'm going to advocate. I'm going to do whatever brings me joy. That is what living well means to me.
Well, the first thing really was, okay, we, we can't change it. So let's figure out how to live our life after this.
You have heard the story about dementia. It has probably not been a good story, and now you are living it. But there is another story about dementia that is not always told. People live well with dementia. You can be a part of this different story, which recognizes the hard things about dementia, that a person is dealing with losses and changes and will continue to change, and that you can also support them to adapt and grow and live their life. It can be confusing what to do next to support the person with dementia so that they can move forward and try to live well with dementia. What can you do? Recognize that each person responds to learning they have dementia in their own way. For some, there is relief. It can give a name to changes or difficulties they've been having. They might feel, at least I know what's going on with me. People might feel anger, sadness, and anxiety. People living with dementia might feel all of these things. There is no right way to feel about having a diagnosis of dementia. Everyone has their own path and processes it in their own way. And for some people, they might have difficulty accepting that they have dementia. We might feel that they are in denial. It could be that they just might not want to think about it too much. It isn't helpful for a person to ignore those feelings or push them away, but you can still support a person by honoring where they are and coming to terms with having dementia. Consider that how a person responds to having dementia is also impacted by the stigma of dementia, the set of negative and often unfair beliefs that we have about something. This is the story of dementia we have heard. It is in the air around you, and you have breathed it in. We all have. You might have even heard negative beliefs and stigma from healthcare professionals. The stigma of dementia tells us things like people living with dementia can't do things, they are no longer there, and there's nothing that could be done for people with dementia. To help a person move forward so that they can live well with dementia, you both might have to unlearn some of these negative beliefs about dementia or find different ways to think about them. You can honor where people are and what they are thinking, feeling, and believing about having dementia. It might help to have some awareness of what people could be going through with dementia so that you can try to support them. Meet Sam, who lives with a type of dementia.
This is Sam. He lives alone since his divorce 8 years ago. Last year, he retired from teaching and since has been traveling and playing a lot of golf. 2 weeks ago, Sam was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. His doctor didn't give him any direction or give Sam any idea about what to do next. except for a couple of brochures and this advice. You need to get your affairs in order. What Sam was wondering was,
now what?
right, now what? Sam feels isolated and depressed about everything. Not only that, Sam feels doomed, like a dark cloud he can't get out from under. Sam has so many emotions, worries, fears, and negative messages piling on top of him. Everything Sam has seen in movies, read in books, and heard from others has basically been that when you're diagnosed with dementia, life is over. He's carrying everything like heavy bags on his shoulders, and they're dragging him down. He has no idea about how to understand and manage his feelings. Then one day, he noticed a flyer at his grocery store. Sam walked in with all his baggage. By the end of the session, he felt he's not the only one to feel this way. He's not the only one who has friends not coming around anymore. He's not the only one who is told, basically, your life is over. He's not the only one that needs more than a pamphlet. He's not the only one who worries he will lose who he is. He's not the only one.
Living with dementia can be scary and unknown, but so is life. It's like that roller coaster, ups and downs and twists and turns.
I'm trying to get past what I've heard about dementia and create my own story of what it's like to live with dementia.
I'm not trying to stop my feelings anymore, but acknowledge them and figure out why I am feeling this way. It's not easy, but I want to keep living my life the way I want to live it. I realized it's up to me, no one else. I realized it's a choice only I can make.
Like Sam, people have all sorts of feelings and beliefs about having dementia. Here are some things you can do to support a person with dementia. Be curious about what their feelings and beliefs are. Validate their feelings as being true to them. Offer support and ask them to tell you how. Reaffirm their identity by letting them know they are still them, even if they are experiencing changes. Dementia is only one part of who they are. Encourage them to connect with other people with dementia. You can both fight the stigma of dementia by trusting that it is possible to move forward and live well with dementia. The old story of dementia tells us that nothing can be done for people with dementia. This makes it hard to move forward to live with dementia. You can be a part of a new story of dementia, one in which you and the person you support can learn to live well with dementia.
And I think we talk about change in life, everything's going to change, everything's going to change. But this is a drastic change. It not only affects your loved one, it affects you, it affects your lifestyle. So not just, I've got to do things differently. There's a lot of acceptance. And in some cases, the acceptance is just overwhelming. It's like, well, what can I do? And I think you have to get through that so you can figure out, okay, this is what I need to do, and I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else.
Like so many people who don't have any clue, and they go in and they get the news, they're just devastated. But I was lucky that I knew it wasn't a dissonance. It was just going to be adaptation. I was just going to have to change the way I did things. And that's why when the driving became a problem, I said, okay, this is it. This is one of the big changes I've got to make, but I have to get off the road. I cannot put other people in danger and endanger myself. And so I did. I mean, I know so many people, they just shut down completely when they get this diagnosis. And there's just no reason. There's absolutely no reason. You're still who you were. You always will be. The things that gave you joy will continue to give you joy.